Live from Kakariko Village. Broadcast throughout the Retroverse, transmitted to the real world via a maze of wires connecting a Super Nintendo to a Wii, to a Wi-Fi network, and finally to the internet. The Techno Funk Boy presents the Retro Zoo Super Show. Now here are your hosts, Kai and Steven.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This is the Retro Zoo Super Show, and I'm your host, Kai. We are joined by our producer, Drum. Drum, how is it going today?
I am functioning normally.
And that is going to be the last time he is functioning normally in 2018. I mean, not that he's gonna, go off the rails or something, but it's just the last episode of 2018. Speaking of going off the rails, so we're gonna have a little bit of a fun episode today. Basically, in this episode, we are going to be planning our 2019. So in essence, I'm inviting you inside a business meeting of the Retro Zoo and showing you around and letting you listen in as we chat about goals and projections and finances and all that stuff. Not really. We're going to talk about our goals. We're going to be talking about some of the things that we have in store for you this year. You don't want to miss this episode because we're going to give you a little bit of hint as to what we're going to be doing in the next year, what we are going to be covering, and there's going to be some fun stuff in there. And so kind of the way this is going to work out is that in the first part of the episode here, we're going to talk about a little bit about gaming goals for the year. These are games that I am planning to tackle and show off my skills or lack thereof. And, this is, obviously going to directly tie into what we talk about because what I'm playing is going to be what we're talking about. And in a lot of ways, it's like every game we talk about, I at least fiddle with a little bit. But these games are going to be the games that I'm going to be trying to tackle and beat this year. Or I have some distinct goal for it. And so that's going to be the first half. In the second half, we are going to be joined by our news staff, and we're going to be chatting about the stuff that we have in store, the stuff that we're going to be doing as a podcast, as a band, as musicians, as Twitch streamers in the next year. That is going to be that's going to be fun, and there's going to be a lot of free content for y'all, a lot of good stuff that we're going to be churning out that we want you to enjoy. And so, the first thing we're going to tackle, and this does tie a little bit into Twitch because, as a lot of you know, that we are on Twitch at twitch.tv/technofunkboy. And we are going, we're trying to get at least most of our video game playing on Twitch. And that's, and there's a number of reasons for that. The primary one is I just really like it. I really do. I really enjoy being on Twitch. I really enjoy interacting with people as I go through games, especially as I'm thinking about games, for the show and getting reaction to them. And so the stuff that we're going to be talking about here, as far as goals go, are going to be things that are going to play out on Twitch. And then most of them play out in the show, in the Retro Zoo. And so it's kind of one of these things where all of this is working together, between Twitch, between Discord, between the show itself, and we even we're even trying to play out some of the recording on Twitch as well. We managed to get that. There's just been tons of technical problems with that, and so that's happened a lot less often than I wanted it to. But we did manage to get that going once, and it was a lot of fun. And so that's the goal. That's what we're hoping to accomplish. That's what we're hoping to do. So, without further ado, here are the gaming goals of the year. The first one is not even necessarily going to be to beat a game, because I'm not sure if it's beatable, because this is an unfinished game. So we're going to talk about this a lot more detail next week, but short version is next week I'm going to be playing, and the goal is to do this on New Year's Eve, and so please do jump on Twitch if you're around on that time and don't have a date. That came out that I didn't mean that quite as harsh as that came out, because as I say this, I realize I probably should have run this by Anla before going ahead and announce it. I'm sure she'll be fine. But I'm going to be playing the NES version of SimCity. Hey, wait a minute, Kai. SimCity is not an NES game. It's an SNES game. And to that I say, you're half right. It is an SNES game, but it is also an NES game. And we're going to be going into a lot more detail on that in next week's episode, because next week's episode is going to be about this. But my gameplay for the preparation is going to be coming up. So that's my goal. My goal there is just to be able to play it, because I don't know how far you're actually able to get into this game. So following that, I guess the next easiest goal that I have is to wrap up Final Fantasy XII. Now, you'll remember we actually already done an episode on Final Fantasy XII, and I was right near the end of that game when we did the episode. I think I said that, that I'm almost to the end and I will be wrapping that up soon. And I immediately put it aside and didn't play another second of it. I really do enjoy the game. I mean, this is not, indictment on the game itself. It's just that there was other stuff I needed to play for the show. And so we are going to be finishing that up. And there's not a lot left in it. And so that one should not be all that difficult. Moving forward, the next item on the list, and this one is also going to be a fairly easy goal, is going to be in the first part of the year, Chrono Trigger. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is because, and for those fans of the show, you will remember that we had the host of the backlog breakdown on the program not too long ago, and I'm also a member of the Facebook group, the Backlog Beatdown. And the whole reason that I played Zelda 2 not long ago was because of this group. That was going to be our shared game of that time period, and our upcoming shared game is going to be Chrono Trigger. Now, I want to pause right here and mention that the last episode of the Backlog Breakdown was just a few days ago, and so if you subtract a few days off the release of this, I think it was actually December 26th or something like that, 24th, 25th, 26th. It was around Christmas. Look for that episode, and they were going over their favorite moments of the year, and both of them said that at the top or near the top was them being on this show. Now, this is notable to me. First of all, I really loved having them. and that was a lot of fun. And I in turn was on their show not long thereafter talking about Zelda 2. But I do want to note that they have their own podcast. I mean, I appreciate it. And certainly, like, me being on their podcast was, I mean, right up there. I mean, possibly in the top 50 moments of my podcasting year. Possibly down to 49. Wait, how many episodes? Wait, I think we only missed 2 weeks, so there'll be about 50 episodes. So yeah, so definitely in the top 51 moments of my podcasting year was being on their show. But I just a little bit. It was an absolute blast, and we really did appreciate them being on this show. But you heard it straight from them, if you heard them, that being on this show is better than being on their show. I think that's the conclusion that we all reach from that. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think that's a fair assessment of the circumstances. But in any case, so yeah, everybody's going to be playing through Chrono Trigger. Now, I've played through Chrono Trigger a couple of times, and while I really enjoy it, I don't want to spend that much time on it this year. And so what I'm planning to do, and what makes this one of the more easy goals, is to do New Game Plus and to actually hit all of the endings, and kind of showcase those on Twitch as we go. And so that's kind of the goal, is to do that. And so that's going to let me fly through the game much more quickly. I can't remember what level I'm on, but I've used those characters to beat the game twice. And so they are pretty substantial leveled. And so when New Game Plus, you keep your levels and your equipment, and you start the game over. And so you just, especially the first half of the game, you're like one-shotting bosses and that sort of thing. And so it's a great way to kind of do the tour of the plot again. And I'm really looking forward to that. But that is going to remain one of the easier goals. So, moving it forward again, I guess the next easiest goal, and now we're getting into stuff that I'm actually having to play a whole game. But the next one is probably going to be Phantasy Star. And the reason the Phantasy Star might be a little easier than the last 3 goals is because I'm already a substantial way through it. I'm not at the halfway point yet. I don't think so. I looked at an outline. I didn't look through a walkthrough, but I looked at an outline of a walkthrough, and where I am is in the first half of the table contents, right? So yeah, I think I'm still in the first half of the game. But I have started it. I do have all the characters that I know of, at least. There's 4. That seems to be all that fits in the party. And so we have some good equipment on some, and we're moving right along in the game. And so we're going to try to be wrapping that one up fairly soon. So next are games that are going to require a little bit more doing, because they are long JRPGs. The next 2 are long JRPGs that I haven't started yet. And so the first one is going to be Final Fantasy IV: The Lost Years. Now, for those of you who don't know about this, and you can tell which one of you don't know about it because you weren't groaning, but this was a sequel to Final Fantasy IV that Square put out one chapter at a time over on the Wii, and then eventually ported it to other places. But because it was one chapter at a time that you bought individually, it's rather episodic. You mainly follow like one character through a whole segment of the game, and then you move on to another character. So the reason I want to play it is because Final Fantasy IV is definitely up there in my favorite games of all time. I often debate myself whether I like 4 or 6 better. I think 6 is a better game, but I think the innovation of 4, the charm of 4, just the characters of 4, those are heavy hitting elements of this game. And I've played the game multiple times. I absolutely adore it. And it's so I want to play the sequel just because I love these characters and I want to see more of them. Reasons I don't want to play the game is because everybody says it's terrible. And not in that it's just a terrible game, but it's that in that it's just Final Fantasy IV rehashed. You know, it's like it's the same enemies in the same places. And so you just keep playing like all the original levels, you just play them over again and as different characters. I'm not that opposed to that. Y'all will remember last year that I started trying to learn the Final Fantasy IV speed run, and I put it aside for a little bit for Dragon Warrior. We're going to be getting into, the next project in that, but I do want to get back to Final Fantasy IV. I do not mind playing all the same bosses over again. And so that's kind of why it's like, I think I'm going to be okay in this. But I love the game, the original, so much that I wanted to at least give the After Years a fair shot. And so that is what we are going to be doing. The next one is I don't know how hard or easy it's going to be. I've never watched a playthrough of the game. I think I got the right version. From what I understand, the original version is nigh impossible, but it has been fixed, by a fan, along the way, but it is an NES version of Final Fantasy VII. Now, Kai, you said, Final Fantasy VII is not even an SNES game. It's a PlayStation game. And you are right. So the story behind this is apparently China just really embraced the NES and nothing afterwards. And so well into the 2000s, NES was the system in China, and nothing else was really able to get in and catch on. And so there was a lot of game development and a lot of really bad game development continuing for NES games way after the time period where we would have seen new NES games. And one of those is somebody decided to port Final Fantasy VII into an NES format. And so we have Final Fantasy VII, the NES game. And so, like I said, that has been brought over to America and translated. I believe the original Chinese version is not in English, but I might be mistaken in that. But that's my understanding, that it was translated, that there is a version, and I think I found it that kind of levels things out a little bit, so it's not quite as crazy impossible. And so you can play Final Fantasy VII on the NES. And so I wanted to check that out, as a Final Fantasy fan. As someone who very much enjoyed 7, it's I was going to say it's probably, but it's definitely my least favorite of the PlayStation era Final Fantasy games, but it's still, it was still very enjoyable. And so I want to check this out. And so we are going to be tackling that. And depending on how hard it is, that might take us a long time or a very short time. And that kind of maps out the year, except for the overriding year-long goal, because each one of these is just like a time period, where we're probably going to be going from SimCity immediately into Chrono Trigger, jumping over to Final Fantasy 12, to Phantasy Star, to Lost Years, to Final Fantasy VII NES. But there's going to be consistency through all of this, that I did finally get my system set up so that I can start learning the speed run for Zelda 2. And so that's going to be my big goal for the year, is that I want to put a decent time in, on that. Now, I'm not ridiculously good at Zelda 2. In fact, I'm not good at all. And so this is going to take some doing. I've started training on the first palace. Just getting my reps in just one time after another. And, it's just getting better every single time I go through it. And so, the goal is to get pretty good at that, and then to move on to 2, and then so on and so forth until I have all of the palaces done, and then try to piece them together in a coherent whole. That's the goal. And it's probably going to take me a long time to do this. Especially because I'm not able to play every single day, especially when I've got these other goals. I'm not able to play this every single day. And so it's probably going to be a once a week thing, trying to piece this thing together. And so that's the goal on that. Now, I'm dissatisfied. I'm dissatisfied with my Dragon Warrior time. And I don't want to give it up. But the main reason I can't make that my main speedrunning game is because it's just too long. And I thought that I would be able to squeeze in once or twice a month to do a run of it, and it's just not working out. I was able to do 3 this year, and the last one just completely failing after 4 hours. And that's very frustrating. It's one of those games that, the whole thing can come apart by pure RNG, the random number generated by just pure chance, very, very late in the run. And so that was a real frustration for me. And I know it's a frustration for others as well, that, you can be on world record pace in this game, and the Dragon Lord just not cooperate through no fault of your own, but just not cooperate and destroy your chance. And, and that's not that bad of a thing, except that it takes you 5.5, 6 hours to get to that point, right? So that's the real problem. And so it was to the point that if I could set aside time to do this, it was only going to be one attempt. And if it failed, then that was it. That was it for the day. And so this is something I do want to come back to, and I do want to try again at and keep working at. But, it's not something I can work on every single week. In fact, it's not even something I can work on every month. And so I wanted to find something that was shorter, that was doable on pretty much any of my streaming nights, at least once. And so the Zelda speedrun, is once I get it all pieced together, it'll probably be even under 2 hours, as I get better and better, drifting towards an hour 30. And so with a 3 hour, stream, I could possibly get 2 runs in on this. And so that's a huge difference, right? A 3 hour stream with Dragon Warrior is, I'm not even going to start it because I'm not going to be able to finish it. And so I think that's going to work out much better. Before Dragon Warrior, I was working on Final Fantasy IV, and I do want to come back to that. The thing that frustrates me about that is the setting up of the RNG manipulation, and it's just it's not something I want to do, and it's not that I think it's wrong to do or anything like that. I have no problem with people do it. It's just something I don't want to do. And so that's going to be a problem with me going forward, is that I would want to do it without doing the RNG manipulation. But without that, it's not overly feasible for me to put up really great times. And so I do want to come back to it because I think it's fun, even though I don't think that I'll ever be really high on that particular list. But it's fine enough to do the Paladin run when you've only got an hour or so. and that's great. But to do the whole game, it is a longer one, and so. Right now, while I don't have 4 hours to sit down and do any sort of run of anything, I think I think Zelda 2 is going to fit into that really, really nicely. So, if you don't follow me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/technofunkboy. We will be streaming all of this year and probably substitute some stuff in and out, as we go and kind of, just move forward with there. So, you'll be able to see, to follow along with the goals, and we will keep you up to date in this. But in the meantime, there's a lot of other stuff that we're going to be doing in the next year, and a lot of exciting projects that I think you're going to be really excited about. So when we come back, we're going to be joined by our news team, and we are going to be chatting about that stuff. So please do hold on for just a minute while we have a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back. Hello gamers everywhere, it is Phil from Phil'sGamingEmporium.com. We are having our biggest New Year's blowout of all time. 2019 is coming, and so why in the world should you be paying 2018 prices? From now through the new year, if you go to Phil'sGamingEmporium.com and you pick out any game that is $19.99 or less, then we are going to give it to you for $20.19. That's right, 2019. How exciting is that? You are going to be partying like it's 1999. Although it's not 1999 anymore, it's 2019. It's like 2 dimes later. It's so exciting. You don't want to miss it. Phil'sGamingEmporium.com. And we are back. Oh, thanks so much for sticking with us. And we're kind of trying to plan out our new year. And so we have on the line our 2 reporters. We have, Rangel Robertson. He's kind of our real world reporter that covers things in the real universe, I guess, to say without a better term.
Well, Kai, I kind of prefer the term Earth One.
Rangel, I don't think that's, okay, fine, whatever, that's fine. And, thanks, Rangel.
Kai, it's always my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. I'm really happy to be here.
Okay, well that's great. And on our other line, we have our normally crime reporter, but he has filled in from time to time on other matters inside the Retroverse is Stefan Stevens. Stefan, thanks so much.
From time to time, I suppose it's been more like once.
It's been more than once.
I'm pretty sure it's only been.
I think it's at least been twice.
It was that time that Murd attacked the T-Rex, was it?
No, Murd didn't attack the stuff. Okay, what about the time that weren't you and Timmy filling in at some point?
I honestly don't. I don't remember.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, Stefan, you honestly you don't sound all that great. Oh no, I'm quite fine. I'm quite fine. It's just
It's just what?
What?
It was what were you saying? It was just what?
I don't think I was talking.
You were definitely
Yeah, Stefan, you were definitely talking. You really don't sound good at all from my end. I know I'm over in Earth Prime.
I thought you said it was Earth 1.
Well, no, I misread it. There was a little ticky mark over the Earth, and somebody just informed me that meant Prime, not 1.
So you just thought it was like never mind.
Okay, so yeah, I'm way over in Earth Prime, and so I can't hear very well. But you're not sounding all that great. Ringo, I was just out very late last night, and yes. So I'm not at the top of my game, I must admit.
Wait, but you were up late. We knew we had the program.
You have the program every week, and it's been what, like 70 episodes, and you've used me twice.
I'm pretty sure it's been. Has it been? I think it may have only been twice.
This is what I'm saying. After a while, I just stopped waiting by the phone.
Oh, okay, but yeah, you know what? Never mind, guys. This is our kind of our New Year episode. We're broadcasting this right before the new year coming into 2019. I don't know if you heard the first part of the program.
I absolutely did. Yes. It was quite good. It was you were doing that little that play where you were talking about like there's two Zeldas.
That was like months ago.
I may be behind in the episode.
Okay. All right. Well, Stefan.
No, I don't listen to the program.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we were giving kind of our gaming goals for the year, and so I've kind of gone over some of mine, my gaming goals for the year.
So what, you're going to finish a game maybe this year?
Yes, I'm going to try to finish a game this year. That's exactly what it was.
Because I remember, last year you were trying to, speed run Dragon Warrior.
I did speed run Dragon Warrior.
You have, the slowest time. I don't even know why you submitted it.
It's not the slowest time.
I do think there was one time slower than him, that somebody did submit. Somebody that was one time was slower.
See, yeah, so I'm not the bottom of the list. It's just Dragon Warrior. I was trying to train to run Dragon Warrior this year. I found the sheer length of the game to kind of be prohibitive of that. I really want to keep running the game, but I very rarely am able to stream for 6 hours straight. In fact, almost never. We did like 3 attempts at the game, and so of those 3 attempts, I finished 2. But it's just it is a very long game, and it's very, very rare that I'm able to just sit down and play for 6 hours, and that's why I've tried to pick something different for this year.
Well, I'm sure that you'll find some excuse on that one too.
Rangel, come on.
I'm sorry, Kai. I'm just kind of nervous, and Stefan is hungover or something, and I just don't know. Everything is it's making me very nervous.
Okay, there's no reason to be nervous,
and I'm not. I'm decidedly not hungover.
Sure. Okay. So do you guys have any gaming goals for this next year?
No, I don't play video games. Yeah, no, I'm with Rangel on this. I have no gaming systems or games in my house at all.
You work for a retro gaming podcast.
Well, I don't think that really has anything to do with anything. Yes, no, I mean, Steven, literally only plays StarCraft, and
he doesn't only play StarCraft. He's played other things.
It seems like mostly StarCraft. He goes on about it quite a bit.
I'm finding it hard to argue about that. So in any case, we are attempting to do quite a few things this year.
Well, I mean, are they going to involve us?
Well, yes, of course they're going to involve you.
So am I going to appear in 2019?
I'm sure you will at some point. I mean, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to go get a drink.
It is the morning.
It is not the morning. I am currently in Viridian City, and it's a different time zone.
Are you serious here?
It is a different time zone.
Oh, thanks, Drum. Okay. All right.
Yeah, barkeep, can you another one, please?
You're at the bar.
What?
You're at the bar right now.
Well, I mean, it's a hotel bar.
I'm not sure that matters.
Well, I think it does. So we'll just agree to disagree?
Sure. Sure. Okay, so everybody, like I said, we're going to go over some of the stuff that we are planning to do in the upcoming year. We in 2018 we actually did a lot of music, and most of that we've given away for free, especially on Patreon. Patreon has gotten all of our music for free, and we've been offering them for different occasions. We're going to continue doing that, but it's going to be much more structured. We are going to be doing at least one new song every month. So that actually is going to be a lot more structured. So instead of a series of singles or EPs like we have been doing, we're going to do another full-length album. Now it's been actually a very long time since we've done a full-length album. We recorded actually several years ago. We recorded the Final Fantasy mixes, and that is available. I'm gonna link actually to the CD Baby shop, because we currently have that on sale at CD Baby, the whole album for $3. And so, if you're listening to this episode in the future, I don't know how long it's going to stay that way, but we're intending to keep it like that for quite some time. And so please do check that out. It's 10 songs. It's over an hour of music, but it's been a very long time since we did something like that. And we've learned a lot since then. Like, I mean, if you're listening to like the Dragon Warrior EP that we did, you're going to notice a big difference in the sound. Not that the Techno Funk Boy, the Final Fantasy mixes aren't worthwhile. I actually still think they hold up really nicely, but we've developed our sound quite a bit more, and so you're going to see actually hear a really big difference there. And so we want to kind of take what we've learned and put it into another full length album. And so we're going to be working on that this year. And like I said, we're going to get a new song out every single month, and that's going to be available directly to our patrons over at Patreon. And so that's going to be very regular, and we're going to kind of build up into the full album and then get that album available. In addition, one thing we've been working on and been recording lately is we have been engaged in writing and recording a soundtrack for another podcast. And we're going to be telling you more about that podcast as we get to the point where it's coming out. And it's going to be, from what we've heard so far, it's going to be great, and you're not going to want to miss this. But that soundtrack is going to be available eventually as well. But long story short, there's a lot of new music coming out and about to be available.
I fail to see how this is related to us.
We're getting there, okay?
All right. Well, we're just gonna hang back and I don't know. We're gonna talk amongst ourselves.
Don't talk amongst yourselves. You're on the radio.
Well, can't you do something so we can talk amongst ourselves and not be heard over the airwaves.
No, we can't, like, literally, we can't do that. You're connected through the board here.
That sounds like that's overly complicated. Why, I don't know, why don't we just, call us, like, direct, we've all got phones, wouldn't that be easier?
But that wouldn't get you on the air.
You clearly don't need us on the air.
I do need you on the air. I do. So, can you, I don't know where I'm going with this. New music. Lots of new music. And so we're going to be trying to get on our Twitch channel more consistently. We're going to be trying to, do we're going to be trying to get on Twitch more often, more consistently. We're going to be trying to get out some new music. We're even going to be hopefully getting it set up. I was having some problems getting it set up the other day, but hopefully getting it set up where we can do the recording directly in Twitch, and in that way, you can follow along if desired. But lots of new stuff coming out. On the show itself, and this is where you guys come in.
What?
This is the part where you come in.
Oh, okay. Stefan, you want to come back?
No, no, that's fine. Just hold. No, just straight. Make it straight. That's perfect.
No, he's going to talk about us now. Oh, okay, great. I'm prepared. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that we're going to try to bring the show's format back to a little bit about what it was originally, a little bit more structured, where we're going to be talking more about the news around the Retroverse and news around the real world, as well as having callers and guests on more often. And so I'm really looking forward to that. And so I know some of our guests have been very, very popular.
And yet you don't bring us on all that often. Stefan, I'm going to be, just to be fair, I don't think he was talking about us. Well, then in that case, that's just rude.
Never mind, guys. You know what? I'm just going to disconnect the call. Thank y'all so much for joining. Long story short, these are things that we're working on coming up, and so we really do appreciate you being here each and every week. We are very excited about the upcoming year. A lot of stuff that we're working on that I'm just really pumped about, and 2018 went quite a bit better on the show than I thought it would at the beginning of the year. The stuff, the radio plays that we did with Dragon Warrior and Zelda 2, were just a blast to do. Some of the, different approaches we took to different games. This stuff was not in my mind at the beginning of the year, and yet everybody came together and everybody did just really great on this stuff. And so, I really do appreciate it. It's been a great inspiration for us to be able to hang out online with y'all and to chat and to, just discuss these old games. And I think that this upcoming year is going to be, better than the last, and we're going to keep just making the show better. And so with that, we're going to say goodbye to 2018. As we do go into the new year, please do tell a friend. Please do jump on our Discord server. All the links are in the show notes. I know there's a lot of links thrown around, but there's a lot of stuff that we're getting into and we're trying to do, and a lot of different types of content that we're trying to create and we're trying to give to you. And so, if there's a lot of links, then please do. If Discord is your thing, then please join us on Discord. If Twitch is your thing, please join us on Twitch. We're, Techno Funk Boy on most things, including like Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and that sort of thing. And so come hang out with us. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on the different episodes that have come out in this last year or in the year before. What you want to hear more of, what you're hoping that we're going to get into in the next year. I really love to hear your thoughts. And so, there's plenty of places to find us. So come find us. Let's hang out. Let's chat. Until next year, which is a few days away, but until next year, thank you so much. Have a great, great New Year's. If you just have nothing to do, I'm hoping to be streaming on Twitch, on twitch.tv/technofunkboy on that evening. In the meantime, whether you are the serious gamer, whether you use it to blow off steam, whether it's just a nostalgia factor for you, whatever the case may be, go, enjoy it, and we'll see you next year.
The Retro Zoo Super Show is brought to you by the Techno Funk Boy. Follow us on Twitter at Techno Funk Boy, on Facebook at the Techno Funk Boy, and sign up for our email list at technofunkboy.com. Also look for us on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon for music. If you are so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast catcher. If you are not so inclined, you are obviously some sort of villain trying to conquer the world. Unowned music and gameplay clips are used for educational and critical purposes. Thank you for listening. Keep gaming. And once you have responsibilities that need to be done at this time, then you can game later.